Going live. There you go.
See it?
Oh, what's that?
Now I see it, at
Yeah,
least on our Zoom. Should be popping
page
up
up.
on Facebook soon.
I would imagine it will.
Yeah, I think I see us, so.
Yeah. Meeting is now streaming live to Facebook.
Perfect.
Wow, we're technologically advanced, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
All right, I'll let you introduce since these are your people and you can tell them.
Okay, I'm guessing you said tell a little bit about yourself, so you broke up a little bit again, but hi everyone. I'm guessing you already know who I am for the most part since you follow my page, but I'm Rachel Hoy. I'm an auctioneer and land agent for Dream Dirt. And today I have a special guest speaker, Jason Smith, who is the founder of Dream Dirt and kind of the creator of just everything that goes on in Dream Dirt, and why I chose to be an agent for the Dream Dirt team, since it's very just family oriented. And I love working with Jason and Nicole, his wife, who is homeschooling the kiddos in the background. So Jason's on here to help me talk about what we charge for commission and fees at Dream Dirt and what the industry does as well. So I don't know if you want to give any other introduction about yourself, Jason.
Come on here and share some of your fame with you today, Rachel.
Oh, thanks.
Um, I think that what we're going to discuss today, I think is really important to people. I think it's something that they have to consider. And, I appreciate the nice things that you said about. I know that you're very passionate about what you do here. And I also know that you've been just an extremely astute student to stop and pay attention to the small details. Something that I don't always experience with a lot of my agents is people that are willing to just dig in at the depth that you have. And I really appreciate that. And I also think and that they really should understand that one thing that you've done is, in terms of your knowledge, you're probably more knowledgeable than some other auctioneers in the field that have been out there for years and years, simply because you've spent the time to study those things. And as we move forward today to talk about, the value that people should really evaluate in choosing an auctioneer or broker, I think is really, really important to them because it affects the bottom line. Sum up our conversation today before we even get started. Their bottom line, the outcome, and that is the amount of money that they're going to put in their pocket at the end of the transaction. It doesn't matter 5% commission or 1% commission. That doesn't matter until you consider what you will put in your bank account at the end of the transaction.
Yeah, and we're going to be sharing a table later, screen share it, that will break down everything and what you said, what you'll receive bottom dollar, the last part of what the sellers will receive once commission and fees are all taken out. And we have, we're going to compare a few different companies and us as well. So stay tuned for that. But I do just want to do a brief overview and kind of just get it out the door and ask Jason, why do we charge a commission even? Some people just might think we're greedy and we charge a commission just because we can do it, but there's really a lot that goes behind the scenes and why we charge a commission. And Jason, would you kind of explain that to everyone listening as to why we charge a commission even?
Sure. We charge a commission because we're just like them. We have families to feed and bills to pay, would probably be the number one thing. And, sometimes people can get so mired down in arguing about commission that they really can lose focus on. It can be sort of this time suck out of the transaction where you're, constantly talking about just commission itself, Rachel. I think that you have to also consider all of the fees and those things that go into it. One thing that is very different about us, and one thing that sets us apart, is while we do charge commission, we charge a fair commission. just plain and simple, that you know that that's something I insist on from the beginning. We won't gouge anybody. We charge one fee, and we don't charge marketing fees. We don't charge any extra fees. We don't charge anything that becomes complicated, or what I've always called the gotcha fees. You know, you slipped it into a contract where it was on page 17 and, you know, in the middle of a paragraph and nobody saw it. We have none of those. We don't have any marketing fees. And that becomes a big part of consideration in choosing an auctioneer, to make sure. But why do we charge a fee? You know, the same reason that a doctor charges you to have surgery, and the same reason that the garbage man charges you to pick up your garbage, and the same reason that when you go to the grocery store, nothing's free there, because it's an economy and we're all working together and we bring value. And the reason that we can charge a commission is because we are valuable. What we know and the people that we are associated with and our resources become very valuable to our clients. And there's a story, and I wish I had read it before today. It deals with Henry Ford. He had hired a technician from General Electric, and you've probably heard the story. I see you shaking your head. And he had hired a technician from General Electric to come fix, and I forget what it was, a turbine or a motor or something that they just couldn't fix. You know, at Ford, they couldn't figure out exactly what the problem was. And the story goes that this guy came in and he looked at the machine and he tapped on it and he laid on his back and he did some mathematical calculations, and he stayed there through the night until the next day. He asked for a ladder. He climbed up the ladder. He tapped on the thing at a certain point, and he told them, you have to do this or you have to do that. And in doing that, it fixed their problem. And it was something that they were not real excited to pay. And they wanted him to justify it. They sent back word that they wanted an itemization. And they said, all you did was, tap on the thing and that was it. And, you're asking us for $5,000 or $10,000, whatever the bill was. And he wrote back that he was charging them $1 for $9 for knowing where to tap on the motor. And I think that is why we charge a commission. It's really what it comes down to, is the knowledge and the value that we as brokers and auctioneers have to help people through these transactions. We bear all of the expenses of those things. And as you know, all of our sales we take on a lot of that risk ourselves to do, like I tell my clients when I'm talking to somebody, they say, well, how can you do that and not get paid? And I always tell them, because I can either don't get paid. The truth is, if I'm bluffing you today and I'm trying to oversell you on something, I'm literally putting us in a spot where we won't get paid because we did that.
Yes, thank you for explaining that and adding that story. I have read that story because you sent it to all of us, that article, and it was very interesting and really explained the value that people have, that some people just think that's not there, and why they charge so much, or why they even charge it free when they think they should just do it for free completely. I was going to ask you, are you able to see if anyone's asking questions or whatnot? But any viewers, I don't know if you have access to that, Jason, but any viewers, feel free to comment any questions or message either Jason or I. If you have any questions about today's topic, feel free to do that while Jason is looking. I'm just going to give a short rundown of why commission charges and fees vary between companies. It really depends on the value, like we said, of the company and the agent or auctioneer that you're hiring, how good of a job they are doing, if they're professional about it, if their marketing is good. It also depends on the commission percent, typically depends on what type of land you're selling, how much the value of that land is. There's really not a flat fee that we do charge across the whole entire board, because if you're only selling 10 acres, we're going to charge a different commission versus if you were selling 300 acres. So the 300-acre farm would have a way lower commission percent than the 10-acre farm. It also depends on the type of method that you plan on selling. Are you wanting to have a live and online auction together? That's going to be just a little bit more costly. And timed online only auction is the best way, the most powerful way, and a way that a bunch of our past sellers and clients have enjoyed. And that I don't like to say the word cheaper, but that would be a lower commission for you and still receive probably even more value and maximum exposure with that type of auction. It's really the seller's choice of how to sell their land. So that was an online auction. If you do a listing, it's going to be a little higher percent because you're paying both the listing brokerage and the who is listing the property, and then the buying brokerage. So you're paying two agents. So you gotta we typically have to charge a higher commission on that because it gets broke into two sides. And then also for sale by owner, you can definitely sell your land on your own and not have any charges of commission, but you would have to pay all the marketing yourself and get it done that way. And I will cover that topic a little later in this episode. Also, how you negotiate with your auctioneer and agent. You can definitely negotiate to a place where you feel comfortable. We do a lot with that when we sit down with sellers at their house, or when we're doing a video call or just a phone call. We've negotiated before. It could be a scale, it could be a flat fee rate. It could just be a 0.5% even. So if you're looking to sell your land, definitely negotiate with some agents and auctioneers too. And then I think the last is just watch out for those extra fees. There's marketing fees, no sale fees, closing costs, per bid fees. A lot of those are found in other auction companies. We don't have those at Dream Dirt, but I just want to make everyone aware that those fees are out there, and that some companies do charge them. So definitely look through your contract before you sign it and ask them why this fee might be attached and everything. So with that, Jason, are you ready to pull up that graphic that we have so we can compare some of the costs and fees that are in our industry?
Yeah. You want me to go through it when I bring it up?
Yeah, you designed
Okay.
it, so I think you know the majority about it, but you can kind of set the scene of what we're talking about and kind of go through the list. And I think this just helps viewers see it, the numbers, and just go ahead and start.
With Rachel, in terms of our own market research and, trying to understand where we fit in the. This really comes down to an example. If you can read my text on the top, it says that these are not exact figures. These are just based on patterns and averages. But what it really takes into account is the addition of those fees and closing fees and per bid fees, all of that stuff in the mix changes the outcome. And you can see that by looking at this. If you look at the top line, you see an average, and our average commissions, or what we know of commissions from other companies and that we're doing here. And as you look at this, that right column is what matters. And that's the way you have to think if you're going to go sell a farm. That's what you really have to stop and think is, 1%. But that's not the whole picture. The whole picture is what else is going into this? What else am I going to pay? Who's going to pay for the closing costs? Who's going to pay up to what point? What other providers do I have to pay in order to consummate this, this transaction? And that is, I guess, unmoving as this graphic can be, just in all text. That very right column, you can see that when we compare our services to others that we compete against, where there's marketing fees and all of those things, your outcome is just much better. $621,280 is going to look better going into your pocket than $548,000 or $559,000 or $595,000 or $541,000. And I just visited with a guy on the phone about an hour before this, and he was talking about a transaction that he was working on, and he was talking about the taxes. And one thing that he told me was, he has the option of doing something that avoids a portion of the tax by about 50%. And he said to me, he goes, well, that money would sure look pretty good in my pocket.
Yeah.
We all, we're all that way. That's the way we are. We want to save as much money as we can. But if you believe you're saving, I'm not saying that commission won't save you money, but I'm saying if you believe that you're saving money based on commission alone, you may be doing yourself a disservice, and you may be end up in the column where you're actually putting less money in your pocket simply on a number. That's the one thing that I really love about what we've done, Rachel, is just to completely simplify it. We charge one fee, and it's a commission, and it's a no risk fee. It is not, it's not a fee that, you know, it can be, add this in, and nobody pays us a fee until we do the job. That's about things, which is much different. And I can tell you, when I first came into the auctioneering business and the real estate business, my peers would tell me, you have to charge these people like $5,000 ahead of time. And they would say, so they have skin in the game. You know, there's something about that that just never sat right. It just never felt good that they should have to have skin in the game. You know, here I am, a professional provider of land brokerage services and land sales services. And if I'm going to go tell these people that I can do something in particular, I can achieve something, you know, I don't understand why they would have to have skin in the game. I don't understand why you should put them at risk. If you're a true professional and your knowledge is valuable, then your knowledge should be really good up front. They shouldn't have to question it. There shouldn't have to be any sort of was right every time. But when you have a professional auctioneer and a professional broker that is less worried about making the commission and more worried about providing the service, when things do go wrong, there's always another option. There's always another way to go about things. You know, that's one thing that I really like about the mentality of our group at Dream Dirt, is that everybody really believes that that's the right way to go about things. That's the right way to do business with people. It's the right way to treat people. It's the same way that we would want to be treated ourselves.
Yeah, that's something I really like about how it is a risk-free option to our sellers. Sellers are already going through a lot of stress, and we try to make it the most stress-free way of selling land, especially with our online land auctions. But just the fact that we take all the marketing and advertising into our own hands, and you don't have to pay an upfront fee for it, that really just takes some stress off of the sellers and puts the risk more on us to get the job done, because that's why we're here. We're here to get the job done and get your land sold. So I do just really like how we've been able to just preach that to everyone, that our online land auctions are risk-free to our sellers. Why wouldn't you just go ahead and try it and just contact us and help you with it? Because you could choose another company that's going to make you pay a $5,000 marketing fee up front and maybe not get the job done. So there's a lot of risk involved in that. And just when you're vetting out vetting different auction companies or brokerages, really study who they are, study their testimonials, what their other sellers and clients have said, and ask them just any type of question that you can think of. And just make sure you are stress-free going into the situation and you are comfortable with how much you're going to have to pay the agent or the auctioneer and what kind of fees and commission is associated with that. So I do want to jump in and just give a short breakdown. That table just broke down kind of different auction companies in our industry, but I did want to mention, yeah.
Let me throw one other thing in before we move too far past the fees, because one thing that we didn't even talk about, and I know the reason that you completely skipped over this, and it's because you work for Dream Dirt, and it's because you've never been exposed to it, because it's not a thing with us. But no sale fees, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of companies in our space charge people a no sale fee. I get asked that so many times by people calling. They say, "Well, what's your no sale fee?" We don't have a no sale fee. Again, that goes back to, we can either do what we said we can do, or we don't get paid. I mean, I've seen it in the thousands and thousands of dollars, and we're talking $40,000, $50,000 for a no sale fee where somebody didn't accept a bid. There's a whole nother conversation to be had. It's a whole nother live on not accepting bids. That our acceptance rate by our sellers is over 98%. Less than 2% of our bids don't get accepted. That is a huge testament to our team and the effectiveness of not only the product, but our knowledge and all of the things that come together in our services. We don't have to charge a no sale fee. That's not something we need to complicate things with. And like I said, that's a whole nother conversation on how to go about that, where, there's an auction that doesn't achieve the seller's expectations and the seller doesn't confirm the auction in the end. And maybe one day we can get to.
Yeah, that will definitely be a topic down the road. And Jason's talking about like our reserved auctions where the seller has complete control over accepting the bids and protecting themselves as a seller. So that's with our reserved land auctions is what he's talking about. But thanks for bringing up the no sale fee. There's a lot of fees that other auction companies charge, which is way more complicated, but we can dive in deeper to those definitely down the road if people are asking questions about it and want to learn more. So that's why we're here. We're here to educate sellers and landowners of the different options that they have and just kind of what the auction industry is like and how you go about selling your farm. So we're truly here just to educate everyone and just throw out what we do at Dream Dirt, and hopefully you choose us down the road because we'd love to help you out. And so there's a lot of topics that I would like to cover, and Jason will probably appear on more episodes. But so going back to what I was going to talk about before we mentioned the no sale fees, you can sell your farm, your land, by doing for sale by owner. There's a lot of people that do try it, and you can put a sign out in your yard and have your name on it. And I covered that in my last live video, is just the different methods of how you can sell land. You can watch all of the previous live videos on my page. There's also a lot of information on the Dream Dirt page. But I did want to mention of how some landowners think they're saving money by not paying a commission and just handling it all on their own as a for sale by owner. So I'd like to just give a really quick example about it. Say that you have 80 acres. It's just a good picture in your mind of 80 acres and you're looking to sell it to a good tillable farm. Say that you hired an auctioneer to auction your piece of property, your land, and they got $8,000 an acre using, like at Dream Dirt, we use their most powerful way to do it, which is online land auctions. But so the auctioneer got you $8,000 an acre times 80 acres, which would be $640,000. And our typical charge for 80 acres like that would be 3%. So commission would be about $19,200. So that's on one side. Now, the second option would be if you did for sale by owner. And typically with for sale by owner, you're not going to achieve that higher price like you would with an auction. The way we do our Dream Dirt auctions and our timed online auctions, we know the techniques that bidders are wanting to do and how we achieve those high prices. We know all that, and that's where our value comes from. Because say that you only got $7,700 an acre, so there's a $300 difference per acre, which could seem like a lot, could, I don't know, maybe not, depending on how you figure out all the numbers. But so say you only got $7,700 an acre, 300 less than what the auction company got you. $7,700 per acre times the 80 acres is only $616,000, which that doesn't include taking out any marketing fees that you're paying, advertising fees. Are you putting it in the newspaper? Are you doing radio ads? Are you paying for a big banner? That's what we do at Dream Dirt. We cover all those costs as well. So if you compare the two totals, I had $640,000 over here that the auction company, say Dream Dirt, got you, and you only achieved $616,000, which doesn't include taking out any marketing fees. If you take the 3% commission away, which was the $19,200, you're down to $620,800. which is still more than what you got. You only got the 616,000. The difference that I'm trying to get to you is that the difference, even from paying an auction company who pays for all your marketing and advertising fees versus you who doesn't pay the commission, but is paying for all the marketing and advertising and got less amount of money per acre because you don't know how to work the bidders and have an auction and climb the ladder to get to a higher price like the auction company did at 8,000. The difference is, even if you were to pay an agent and auctioneer, it'd be $4,800 more if you did it with paying a commission. So commission really doesn't cost, it pays in the long run, is what I like to say. For sale by owners, they can get it done, you can do it. But I just wanted to point that out there, that even if you paid commission, you're still making more off of your land than if you were to try to do it on your own in most cases.
You know, Rachel, there's been a few times in my life when I decided to do some things on my own. And one particular debacle was Nicole and I needed to have new gutters put on our home when we lived in Missouri Valley. And so I thought, come on, how complicated is this to put gutters on a house? It's just pretty much you get a step ladder and some nails and something, I don't know. And I got to tell you, the best money I ever spent was when I finally called that fella in to hang them up for me, because first of all, I just nearly killed myself on a ladder. But beyond that, I just had a mess and I was tearing my eaves apart trying to put these things together. Darn things. And that's not the only example I have in my life. You made me think of something. I'm going to share it on the screen. You made me think of something when you were talking here just a bit ago. If I can figure out how to share this thing. And I'm just going to share it for a second. It always reminds me of this. There's always someone willing to do it cheaper. It's a little bit sort of backwards from what we're actually talking about today, because we're actually talking about being cheaper in terms of the outcome. But at the same time, there's also the other end of the spectrum where there is always somebody willing to do it cheaper. We just bid an auction where in the end, I just love this. I don't know, that drawing cracks me up every time, but I'll come back here. We just bid an auction here not too long ago where the lowest bid on that for that auction was actually around $30,000 less than ours. It was very low, and even I looked at it and thought, we couldn't do it for that. And the reason we couldn't do it for that is because we're going to deliver more. And we're going to deliver more outcome. So, I've always said that your advertising really difference in the actual outcome because it increases participation. That's one thing we understand, is that the level of advertising is going to dictate the participation, and the participation is really going to dictate the outcome. Now, that participation is going to be guided by the auction company, and that's where the real value is at. And you alluded to that just a little bit ago. For those that know how to move up the ladder correctly is what you said. And that really becomes a huge part of it. The methods of an auction company are extremely important in how you handle things. And because you've been there just near every step of the way in the advancement of our technology and our online bidding. You first came in to manage that technology after it had initially been built. But now as we move to 2.0 next week, you've been there to kind of see that entire process and understand what does and what doesn't work with bidders, and through lots and lots of experience. So that moving up the ladder in what we call an ascending bid auction, important, and how things are done are going to affect the outcome that the seller has in that particular auction. Now, there's a divergence in that road as well, too, because every seller's not exactly the same. I wrote an ebook where people can go read about how to be a good seller, if you remember that chapter. And, I remember it so much because I deal with sellers all the time, and people are all different. And I love all people. I don't care who you are. I still love you. But dadgum, some of you guys can just be sort of difficult to deal with. That's just the way it is. I know this and I do this all the time. And I still love you anyway, and I'm going to do my best for you no matter what. But that divergence in that road can really be, there's the type of sellers that tell the auctioneer, hey, you're the professional end of the spectrum, where you have the seller that says, I know you're the auctioneer and you're the professional, but I want you to do this, 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 and sort of micromanages the process. So you get that divergence in our ability to create the results as much as we're allowed to do. You know that we have to listen to our clients. And when they have certain particular wishes and they insist on it, we can give them the best advice in the world, and we can insist and insist. But at the end of the day, that's their choice. You know, we always tell people you can be involved as much or as little as you wish to be. This is your being hired, but at the same time, you get the final call in all things. It reflects our company reputation, but that's why we don't take things that we, don't feel like we could continue to maintain a really good reputation with. So wanted to mention that while we were discussing it.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because this is something that you and I do every single day. This is not just a side job or a side gig. So we know exactly what works, what kind of advertising works, what marketing works, how much we need to spend on Facebook ads, how much we need to spend in the newspaper, where we should publish it all, how many sites does it get put on, and everything. So this is truly what we do day in and day out. Jason stays up throughout the night even, and I'm off in bed and wake up to a message. And he goes, hi, welcome to Tuesday. And I said, you must have been up all night last night working on things. So
I think I messaged you at 2:13 a.m. with something about one of the auctions, and then bright and early this morning I said, happy Tuesday, here we go again.
yeah.
And that's what it takes to be in this business, this time of year especially. For me, I've been selling farms for about 15 years now, and I have a whole lot more responsibilities in life. Lots of clients and lots of business and employees. So I always have stuff coming at me and from a lot of different directions, lots of things to manage. And that's how I end up messaging employees at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with things to do. And I'm glad that, I hate to bug you, but at the same time, I'd forget what I was going to say by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, and like you said, fall is a really busy time to sell land. So if you're thinking about the idea and would like to reach out, Jason and I are more than welcome to do a free consultation with you. That is one service we do provide for free as well. We're not going to charge you to talk to you on the phone or through an email or anything. So feel free to reach out to us. And Jason, what is the best way for people to find fees and how much we charge for commission for all types of things that we do? We do personal property, we do farm equipment, land auctions, listings. Where is that going to be on our new website that will be getting launched here shortly?
It's actually in a couple of different places, but in our new website, we're getting ready to, and this is the first the world's ever hearing about it, right here on Rachel Hoy's page, is that we're gonna be launching a whole brand new set of technology and website next week. And next week, Rachel will probably be able to show you guys that and some of the improvements that she contributed to in helping us build this new system. Front and center, they're right out in the open where everybody can see them. You can also click the About Us menu. Just keep out where everybody can see it. It's not something we're ashamed of. It's not something that bothers us. They're always fair. And it's just one fee. There are no hidden fees of any sort associated with it of any kind, period.
Yep, I think you paused for just a bit, but the fees are just on our website at dreamdirt.com, and that website will look different shortly. And we are going to go through a lot of that tomorrow on our Dream Dirt Facebook Live at 10 a.m. and kind of throw what the new website is going to look like and then launch it hopefully next week. So with that, I think that's about all I wanted to cover just for today. This is a really good topic, something that sellers should definitely understand and landowners should really be aware of, is just commission and the fees that are in our industry. So like I said, if you have any questions, you can contact me or Jason. I appreciate you for jumping on and taking time out of your busy day.
Can I say one last thing before we sign off, Rachel?
Oh yeah, you're the one signing off anyway, so.
Oh yes. So here's one thing I want to say. Some of the things we said today could sound like we're beating up some of our competitors. And I want to say this, and I've said this many, many times. Some of the best people I've ever met in the world are in the auctioneering and real estate business. I mean, just absolutely some very genuine, honest, good people. That doesn't stop me from believing that the product and the service that we offer is superior to any of them in our space. And believing that my team that I've built is superior to all of them in this space. But that doesn't make any of those people inferior by any means. And I love so many of them for what they do and the struggles and the protection that they provide for other people. But I really want to make sure that we understand that our point today is to talk about fees and the outcome of your result at the end, something that we worry about a lot, deliver to our clients, something that's really, really solid, very easy to understand, and at the same time, help them reduce stress and go through their seller's journey in a way that fits them and does not detract from their life. Having an auction or being in the situation where you have to sell a farm shouldn't make life more difficult. It shouldn't be miserable. I understand there's no joy in selling the family farm. It always means something that, something has happened that you never wanted to happen. We fully understand that. We want to help you guys through that process, help you through the stressful moments where we believe that we've built a system that just makes that easier for our sellers because it's been such a focus for us in our company.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. It's just, we just want to get the information out to everyone. We're not beating anyone up. And if you'd like to work with us and you like what we said today, feel free to contact me or Jason. Jason, what's your phone number?
There's been a few people that have come and gotten market analysis from us and ended up doing business with another company. And you know what? I wish them the best in their sale, and I don't wish anything bad on them. That's the way business is. You can always come talk to us. There's no strings attached. Doesn't mean you're going to do business with us, but we'd sure love the opportunity to try and earn your business and show you. That's all I have for you, Rachel.
Yeah, and just feel free to contact or message me. My number is 515-954-8063. And stay tuned for the topic I post later throughout the week or Sunday or Monday of what I decide to talk about next Tuesday. So hope you enjoyed this over your lunch hour, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day.
That I got to be here, and I really appreciate the opportunity, and I even got a new pair of shoes out of the deal. So thanks.
Sweet.
See you next week.
Bye.